Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling weary? Are you feeling like you have nothing left to give right now? Interestingly, the best thing that we can do when we're in moments like this is actually to serve. And it seems kind of counterintuitive and not really what culture teaches us. It's not what a lot of mental health providers will tell you. They'll say to you, focus on you, take time off, make sure you rest. And there is wisdom to that. However, and I say this as a social worker, so let me caveat that. Yes, there are times for rest. And then there are times in which we apply biblical principles that are different. In Matthew 25:31, Jesus is talking about the final judgment. And this is when he's talking about separating the goats from the sheep. And one of the pieces that he addresses is, I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you took care of me. I was hungry and you fed me, right? And so they're saying, like, the disciples were asking, like, when did this happen to you? And he was saying, like, what you have done for the least of these, you've done for me. Meaning that when you take care of people who are vulnerable, one of the positive components of that is that we're actually serving Jesus in that. And sometimes it seems like when we're going through a hard time, the best thing we can do is take care of ourselves. But serving actually is a really good way to get perspective. It's a really great way for us to understand better where our difficulties and position is in this moment. So I'll give you a more personal example. So during my car accident 4 years ago, I was in a point where I was working in a shelter and I was transferred to work into a family shelter. And I'm going to be honest with you, I felt very tired, very exhausted, and I felt like I really had nothing to give. And every day I would show up at work and I would feel depleted. And I started to notice this paradox, which was, even though I would be going through this like heaviness and difficulty and hardship, I would still notice that I would still continue to have people coming to me who had greater needs than I had. So even though I was busy kind of attending to my own physical needs, I was working with kids who were being neglected. I was dealing with parents who were suffering from severe mental illness. I was dealing with people who were fleeing from countries that are dealing with terrorism or war. And slowly but surely, I started to notice that my spirits would actually be lifted in their presence. So it wasn't necessarily like I was able to self-generate this different kind of energy, but I noticed that by taking my attention off of myself and letting the Lord really minister to people through me in my time of greatest need, I naturally found myself feeling rejuvenated in their presence. And I actually started to notice that the more I took my attention off of what was happening, the more I was able to move through this particular season with more grace. And so going back to Matthew 25, starting again at verse 31, when we're looking at taking care of people who are in need, what we've done to the least of these, we've done for Jesus, right? This can really shift our understanding of suffering in a unique way. We are not immune from suffering. All of us are going to go through different hardships and difficulties. And the greatest thing that we can do when we partake in that suffering is to also think about the other people who are also mutually going through various difficult circumstances and how we can be of assistance. And it's not necessarily always going to be an easy principle. There have been times where I've been in need and I have said to the Lord, I don't want to serve this person. I don't want to help this person. I'm upset. I'm frustrated. I'm dealing with my own stuff. But if the calling of the Christian is to actually pursue being like Jesus, living like Jesus, operating like Jesus, he consistently met the needs of the people. Yes, there were times where he understood he had to stop and take care of prayer or do something else to attend to a physical need, but his attention was always on serving the Father, saying what the Father said. So if we can continue to maintain that perspective, I think we'll be better off in the long run and we'll naturally experience kind of a relief from whatever difficulty we're going through anyways. Thanks for watching.